how much revenue you've generated from BuzzLead up until this point, or maybe expected revenue, clients closed?
I think we've closed 8 deals. We've attributed some of that, so like probably 90K in profit so far. I think we've got 27 deals in the pipeline.
We ran cold emails for probably one of the smallest niches that we've ever worked with, and we completely turned it around. Over the course of about 11 months, we booked over 165 sales calls for this manufacturing company and took their business to new heights. And in this video, you'll hear from the owner himself exactly what we did and how we did it to make it happen. Hey Josh, good to see you again. Thanks for joining us here today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, guys, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Good to see you too. So to get started here today, would you mind just telling us a little bit more about Productivo and what you guys bring to the table?
Yeah, so my company is Productivo. I'm the founder and CEO. We've been doing product development and manufacturing for companies for about 10 years. So we're the company that people hire when they get that brilliant idea and they want to make their product a reality. They hire us to figure out how to design it, manufacture it, produce it for them at scale.
And yeah, Josh, so we've obviously enjoyed working with you. We've had plenty of success, and I think it goes back to, we've been working together for about 11 months now. I think it was at the start of the new year. You all decided to partner together with us. And right out of the gates, it might be a hard question kind of answer because I know we have a lot of opportunities in the pipeline, but do you have any idea like how much revenue you've generated from BuzzLead up until this point, or maybe expected revenue or clients closed? If you had a rough estimate.
Yeah, so I think we've closed 8 deals. We tend to deal with pretty high value clients, so it's been good for us. And we've attributed some of that, so like probably 90K in profit so far, but they're ongoing contracts, and so we anticipate the deals closed being much more valuable to us over time as we engage with them longer. But then right before we got on the call, I checked, and I think we've got 27 deals in the pipeline right now that are qualified lead to, pending close dates. So it's been a little bit to get it ramped up and really dialed in, but there's a lot of momentum that's there in that pipeline.
27. I love to hear that. All right, that's a lot of at-bats we can take home and try to hit some home runs here. Yeah. And so when we go back to the start of this relationship here, back in, I think, January, Nick mentioned, like, what were some of the main challenges that you had faced before working with us that had kept you guys from growing pretty consistently at that point?
I mean, when it comes to email marketing, there were plenty. We tried to do our own email marketing outbound for close to, I think for over 2 years. And so some of the things we dealt with is we needed the data. And the best place we knew to look for the data was like ZoomInfo. There's a few others like Cognism and stuff that we looked at, but ZoomInfo seemed like the best. Not cheap. I think the package we got with them was 25 to 30K a year. And we had to do that for 2 years, and it was just brutally expensive. And honestly, the data is not that good. I mean, it's good, but everybody has access to the data. And so we struggled with that a bit. That was very expensive. And then I had to hire a lead researcher. She's out of the Philippines. She worked full-time to apply the filters through ZoomInfo, but then she had to go scrub the data even further because the filters would only get us so far. So it took us a while to kind of figure out a good workflow on that. And then that was just the beginning of our problems. I mean, I was naive enough to think, email marketing, like I got HubSpot. I'm just going to load these leads into HubSpot, send it out. It was a massive failure, and I'm a pretty good copywriter, and I kept scratching my head as to why. And it felt like email marketing was this never-ending unfolding process of the next thing I didn't know. So I thought I just needed leads and some good copy, and the rest would just kind of work itself out as I optimized the campaign. But what we found was there's so many technical requirements to email marketing that was like this never-ending circus of just figuring out the next thing. So we eventually, I think, when we realized HubSpot was horrible for email marketing, and we were burning our primary domain emails by sending emails on our primary domain because we didn't know any better. So all of a sudden, like, our core customers are starting to tell us they're not getting emails from us. And we're like, why? We sent the PO over and they're finding it in spam. And so that was a whole nightmare to get like our primary domain cleaned up. So then I figured out, okay, well, now we need to not send from our primary domain, and did research and, bought additional domains, got them set up on other software. And we kept getting better and better. But at some point I just realized the amount of effort we're putting into figuring this out it's never ending, and I see potential. We were able to generate some good clients that way, but it was just demanding so much of my time. I think I eventually stumbled across you guys, and this is what you specialize in. Like, this is all you do. So like my whole learning curve, you guys had already figured out, and we ended up taking a chance on you guys, and you got it up and running. I think in a matter of like weeks to a month, what I've been trying to do in 2 years. So that made our life quite a bit easier, for sure.
Yeah, I could imagine. Yeah, we spent a lot of days in the trenches working on domains. So
Yeah. And one thing that really stood out to me, Josh, is like, because I think a lot of people that we speak with, business owners in general, and maybe what used to be the case is a lot of people look at like email marketing as like, you know, you spend a couple of $100, spend one weekend, and then you've got a system to just get you meetings for as long as you want. You basically just need to add more data, keep it going, and then you're going to have, you know, a full calendar. And that's what a lot of people assume, but they don't look into like a lot of the technicalities behind it. Domain health and domain reputation, like email deliverability, ongoing lists. So being able to find new untapped data, that way you're not having diminishing returns by going after the same people every single month. But it sounds like the biggest thing was like the ongoing management of that. And then the costs for ZoomInfo alone, plus an employee, ended up costing you, you know, tens of thousands of dollars as is. Plus you've got to manage that. It seems like the bandwidth was kind of like the big granular issue between everything. And I guess like looking at the relationship with BuzzLead, like how have we helped those bandwidth issues like specifically? Has it been just kind of like, you don't even have to look at it, or has it just been anything like specific that like stood out with us? Would it be like list building process or the whole campaign orchestration that really help you tackle that challenge and get your mind off outbound marketing yourself?
Yeah. I don't really even put any thought into it anymore, other than our weekly meetings and just kind of fine tuning things. But it took something that was probably demanding easily between 10 and 15 hours of my week every week, down to maybe an hour where we touch base, which is massive for me. And I was a slow convert because I'm cautious. I've been burned by a lot of agencies before. And so I did keep my own outbound going in the background for probably the first quarter or two that we worked together, because I just didn't want to like completely stop cold if you guys weren't going to deliver. But it didn't take long before you guys were outperforming my internal team by like 5x in terms of booking meetings. And at that point, I'm like, this doesn't make any sense to put any more time into it. So we kind of killed our own internal efforts and just let you guys rock and roll with that.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. So you have this going on in the background, and absolutely encourage all of our prospects and clients that come to us of like, go and see what else exists out of the market. I encourage you to do it yourself before you come into work with us, because I want you to have that shared experience, because then we can grow and work here together effectively. So if you're having this internal constant within for cold email, just for like scientific trial purposes, like what would you say was unique or different from what we did versus what you guys did to get those 5x results?
Some of the things that have really impressed me is I thought after 2 years and all the technical hoops we had jumped through, like we were getting pretty sophisticated. I think we were running like 15 different domains and working with Instantly as the software, and like we kept getting smarter. But then the level of sophistication you guys brought into it, like where and how you get your data, has always impressed me. Like you guys do some pretty creative things to pull some leads that not everybody's getting, which, I mean, even when you told me what you were doing to do it, it's like, that's cool. I don't even want to mess with that. Like that's so many steps to get it and clean it up. So that was really impressive. I think we were split testing campaigns. I think you guys took that to an even deeper level of like split testing and optimizing until you got the message really connecting. So those were a couple of things that jumped out to me. That, and then is I thought I was doing good with the number of domains I was using to keep any one domain sanitized and good. And I think you guys probably did like 3x what I thought was the max I would ever need just to really keep those domains deliverable. So those are a few of the things that jumped out.
Yeah. And just to kind of add on what goes on behind the scenes, because it does seem like we're adding way too many email accounts. We're like, how are we going to physically send this many emails when there's not this many people to reach out to? But a big part of like our process in my back end is really split testing different changes and things that we could do that have an impact on deliverability. So a lot of times it's trying out a different email sending software, or it could be changing the email service provider that we're using to physically send the emails. And then going back to like the data piece, because that's what I live in. I live, breathe, eat, and sleep data. And over 2 years, it's not like we just went to Zoom Info and pulled a list there, or went to Apollo and pulled a list there. We're going to Ocean and finding lookalikes. We're finding Shopify customers. Literally, we're finding company data from all these different places, and then finding emails that the average Joe just doesn't even know where to look. Begin to look to think to find that. And I think we're all that split testing, it's really made an impact. And of course, it's a partnership, so it's like over the long term. A lot of agencies where they fall short is they have a good first, second, and third month. Then they run out of data, their domains go bad, and then they just kind of churn. Whereas with us, we kind of look at it as more of like a long-term partnership. How can we have longevity in the partnership and make sure that the leads are qualified and that we're reaching new people? So it's been a fun partnership, fun journey all together. And you guys have helped us be successful by knowing exactly what problems you solve and different markets that we could potentially go after, because it just makes the total addressable market much bigger and data list building much easier on my end. So
yeah. And I'd say one of the unique parts about our relationship too is like you started us off with a really pretty solid cheat sheet of like the problems that you were solving based on those copywriting techniques, right? You go back to your copywriting skills. Now that's like a helpful bipartisan activity where you're able to like participate in of like, this is what we're seeing that's working, this is what we're seeing that's not, and that's like helping inform our ad strategy. And so we always just like grow together in that way, and that's been really powerful for our go-to-market strategies, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll second that. Like, I mean, you guys kind of got success right out of the gate. We started seeing results quickly, but to your point, Nick, you know, after 3 months, this was anything but done. I think we've really seen good results from the beginning, but I think we've seen our best results just in the last couple months, because I think it keeps getting dialed in further. Honestly, we're seeing more leads booked or more calls booked than we ever have. So that's fun to see.
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, we had our ups, downs, and now I think we're kind of out the gates running, and hopefully we can 2x from where we are right now. But it's been an absolute pleasure. And I guess like the last question to kind of like wrap things up is, for anybody else out there that might be looking to do email marketing or just, you know, scale their revenue, would you recommend, you know, BuzzLead to anybody else out there?
Yeah, 100%. And these guys know it. I've already sent multiple businesses their way. Really proud, happy to recommend you guys to anybody. You've kicked butt. And like, you know, the way I introduce you to others, I'm like, they're just scrappy. They figure it out. They're going to get it done. And I think that's the highest compliment I can pay to other entrepreneurs, is people that are just like genuinely care. All entrepreneurship is hard. Every business is hard. It's who's really committed, who's scrappy enough to just keep working through it and get things figured out. And that's what impresses me.
Gotta have that grit, gotta have that scrappiness at the end of the day to see it through.
100%.
I agree. Well, Josh, thank you for joining us here today. We appreciate the conversation and share a little bit more on your experience here working with us.
Yeah, happy to, guys.
Hey, Bear. I'm not Josh.
If you want us to book you an additional 10 to 20 ready to buy leads to your calendar for your business every single month, click on that link down here below and let's find some time to chat. Talk to you soon.